what turning points did you experience as the year went on? Is there a moment that stands out or a topic that you wrote about or a prompt that just felt like, oh, we've really dropped into this process now?
Yeah, there was one for me, and Penny, there might be a different one for you, but for me, it was one prompt, and I think it was, and the question was, when have you held love and loneliness together, which came out of the poem A Blessing by James Wright, and that one, I think we write about in the book, both made us like, oof. Now there's going to some very elemental human stuff, because we all want to love and be loved, and we none of us want to be lonely. And the two really powerful core emotions, and then contrasting them, how do we hold those together? And so I think for me it was like, whew, now that's a question that's gonna push me, um, in a good way. And I think really that was a turning point for me, certainly, is going to a hard truth and a hard story that I hadn't quite articulated in my mind in that way.
Mhm.
It's interesting. This often happened with us. It was the same prompt for me. When have you held love and loneliness together? And what was always interesting to me is I never knew what I was going to write before my pen hit the page. But what I knew in my gut was, we're going to go deep. And what I also didn't know is, could I dare to go deep just for myself? And by the way, would Darcy also go deep, or would I be hanging out there, going deep? And so it was, for me, a really moving moment when we each read our stories to each other and realized we'd both felt safe enough with ourselves and each other to both drop into a more vulnerable,
Hmm.
intimate kind of story that we shared. And,
Yeah.
and just to say that in itself was a turning point in my life, that I always felt so private about, oh, these are my stories, I could never share them. And somehow in this process, I realized I'm just a human being with stories. I now feel safe enough to write them. I feel safe enough to share them with Darcy, who I know will hold that with respect and care. And he's sharing his with me. And so if other people want to read them and maybe it'll touch them, well, somehow that was suddenly fine.
Yeah.
And that is amazing, because really that was a whole arc from I will never write these stories to here's a book with all my stories, right?